Okay, this video is going to be a continuation of what we were talking about previously when it comes to vehicles, and especially vehicles that have structure points like we see here with the tank and the Titan. Also, I've included an example of a heavy weapons unit that has an anti-vehicle stat that can be used for these types of attacks as well. So when you're conducting an attack that can perform anti-vehicle type damage, it's going to be performed in 2 steps instead of just one of generating wounds like we've seen previously. And this is going to be one where you generate your success levels just like normal, like we've seen before, but then you also have to check for penetration. Now we see with our tank here, it has an anti-vehicle skill within parentheses a penetration of 1 and then 3. So its skill is a 3, and you would use that number to generate success levels by generating random numbers just like we've talked about before. For example, if it rolled a 3 for generating a number, it would generate 1 success level, so 1 successful attack, but it wouldn't end there because you would have to see if it penetrated. So our tank, if it were performing an attack on this Titan, would have to not only see if it hit, but if it penetrates the armor. And we can see both of these vehicles have an armor stat. For our tank, you see it listed here, vehicle heavy armor damage, and it says 4+. So that's the penetration that you need to meet or beat to actually cause damage to this vehicle. And it's the same thing when it comes to this Titan over here. We see that it has the same stat, damage 4+. So what you're going to do is, after you have generated your success levels, if you have successfully hit a unit that does have a armor value that needs to be penetrated, so it has structure points in its place of just regular wounds, then you're going to again generate a random number and add the penetration value, and that will be your penetration for that attack to see if it damages the actual unit. So let's say our tank here did generate an anti-vehicle wound. There's specific counters to use for that against this enemy Titan. It would again generate a random number. Let's say it rolled a 4, and it would add its penetration value if it has one. We see the tank has a penetration value of 1. You would add the 1 to the 4, getting 5. 5 beats the Titan's armor of 4+, so this wound would actually go through and damage the Titan. When it comes to units like this heavy weapons trooper over here that has an anti-vehicle stat but no penetration value, you're going to treat that penetration value as a 0. So if he were to perform an attack against the Titan trying to damage its structure points, and let's say he generated a wound as well, but then when he went to roll for his penetration, he only rolled a 2, there would be no penetration value to add, and the 2 would be less than the heavy armor on the Titan of a 4+, so the wound would be ignored. Now let's also say that the Titan generated an anti-vehicle wound against this heavy weapons type trooper located here. When you have a unit that just has regular wounds and not structure points that takes a wound from an anti-vehicle weapon, so in other words, it's been hit by a very, very heavy attack, you have to generate a random number again, and on a 2+, the unit is just flat out destroyed. And that's going to happen in both directions. So any of your anti-vehicle weapons that hit a regular enemy unit, you'll again generate a random number. On a 2+, they're wiped out right off the bat. Same for the enemy units firing at your regular troopers. If they generate a 2+ with an anti-vehicle wound, they're killed immediately.